Thanks. Like they said, I'm Jeff Coots. Howdy. This is my favorite grant that I've ever wrote because one of my favorite things to do is to fish. I'm a math teacher, and I was talking to my dad last May about what we wanted to do over break. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was fish. Didn't really think about it, but went fishing. And as I sat there, I started thinking about the importance of, my classes. As a teacher, we always want the best for our students, and math is a hard concept. It's not something that's relatively easy, and it's something that a lot of people have trouble with. I had trouble with it, but I just kept at it until I got it. And that's what I really wanted with my students. And, we're in Eastern Kentucky, so the big thing that we do is hunt and fish. And I thought, what if I could connect the two? And as, I'd sit there and fish, I started noticing more and more trends to how, even though it's not something that I think of all the time, as I'm sitting there fishing, there's a lot of math involved. And so my goal with this grant was to show students how fishing and math are intertwined. And the entire focus with that is just to help my students who really have issues. A lot of the issues I do have with students are they don't see how it ever applies in real life. And so it's going to be really interesting to be able to say to a student, use fishing in math, and they'd say, no, I don't, I just cast it and I'm done. But you could think about the gear ratio, you could think about your test line that you're using, you could think about all these different concepts that are going on as you're fishing that you're using just in your day-to-day life. So my goal with my class, once we're able to purchase our grants, is we are going to focus on casting. We're going to focus on testing various test lines. We're basically going to see how the things that we use on a day-to-day basis actually do have math. And so we're going to learn about slope. We're going to learn about creating equations, all just from the things that they have an interest doing. And usually what I've noticed is if you teach from a textbook, and this is from my perspective because I use a textbook a lot, people don't really think about it too much. They see a formula, they say, okay, I've got it, and then after that formula, they forget it the next year. If you actually incorporate something that they enjoy, something that they do on their own time when nobody's telling them what to do, they're going to have a better memory of actually using math. They're going to actually remember formulas. They're going to say, there is an equation I'm doing. Every time I'm rotating my reel, something's going on. There's math involved. And so that's my overall premise for my grant. Once we start buying poles and various test line, we're just going to do different tests to see what they do learn, and we're going to compare it to previous years of exams and just own personal observations, because I've had my students for several years now, and the biggest thing that I want as a teacher, and I'm assuming the biggest thing you all want, is to make sure your students retain the information so that they have a better understanding for when they get into college or they get into the career they're looking for. And that's it. Is there any questions?